Okay, so welcome, and would say good morning, Canada, and good afternoon, Europe. I'm Eric Rousselle, the CEO of OBF Factory, and it's a pleasure for me to welcome you again and to tell you about our new features in OBF Factory and OBF Passport. So my title is putting badges in action and supporting new use case with OBF and OBP's new feature. So it's not really the title that we had in the webinar presentation, but it's the same idea. What I want to say here that for us, for OBF Factory, it's very important to not only to issue badges, but really to use badges in different situations and to basically build services where badges will make the difference. So I've been speaking before about badges as connectors. And you will see today that in OBF Passport, we will now basically open new opportunities using badges also in new use cases. So first of all, our development is always done in what we call open innovation. So we have a lot of discussions and exchange with our customers, and our customers are bringing new needs. And some of the needs we are now answering to are, first of all, that quite many customers has expressed a need to have a better way and easiest way to share badges. So when badge earners get badges, they should have the possibility to really easily and quickly share the badge, even they don't have any backpack or OBF Passport. A second need already for, let's say, 1 year, it has been about blockchain. So having the possibility to issue badges, but badges also as certificates, and certificates validated with blockchain. The third need here, it's organization, the need for organization and networks to have their own community space inside OBF Passport or a passport to support and guide their badge earners. So you will see today we speak about the spaces. And then one other need, it's overall a need to integrate OBF Factory features and possibilities with OBF Passport, which will be presented in different use cases. So about our solutions, first of all, well, the question of improving badge sharing, we have been making new, let's say, improvements in the delivery message that badge holders or badge earners get. As you can see, in the left side, it's a message where you get the information about the badge that you have earned, and you can click Get Your Badge. And when you click Get Your Badge, so straight at the beginning, you will see, or you see here, basically a share badge URL window. You can copy easily the badge URL that you can copy and put where you want, and you can also here share straight away in LinkedIn or other systems. Sorry, it should not ring. I don't know why it's ringing. And then you have of course, if this badge is also issued as a PDF badge, you can also get your badge here. And if you want to put your badge in a passport, you can here go to your OBF Passport. So there is 3 ways to use your badges here, plus the possibility to get also your app. As you know, we have for the OBF Passport an app for both Google and for iPhone. So now if you click the LinkedIn icon here, you will straight away have the window open with all the information already filling the window, and you just have to save to get your badge in the license and certification section in LinkedIn. So it is a big improvement, and it's coming from the fact that now Open Badge Factory works in the back as, I would say, a displayer. But still, of course, you can and you should use Open Badge Passport. This improvement is also due to the fact that LinkedIn has been now opening again the API. So the API that we could use already in 2015 is again working now. One other need is the blockchain validation need. For some customers require this feature. So we have been developing a solution for that. It's an additional service at pro level, so it's not for at all levels. And you can, when you issue a badge that you want to verify with a blockchain, it can be a regular badge, meaning a picture, or a PDF badge. That, as you know, in Open Badge in Open Badge Factory Pro level, you can issue badges in two formats. The PDF badge is also, of course, a standard badge, and in a PDF badge you have all the metadata that you have in the badge. So because customers don't want to verify every badge in a blockchain, so you can set up in Factory, do you want to verify this badge with a blockchain, yes or no? And we don't store the badge data in the blockchain because it's basically against GDPR. As you know, in the GDPR regulation, you should be able to get your personal data erased. And well, if you consider that the badge is a personal data because there is an email address, you can't do it if you save it in the blockchain. So we store the checksum of, or we calculate the checksum, and then we compare the checksum which is in the blockchain with the checksum which is in the badge. What is very interesting, because the let's say validating badges with blockchain is not free. As you know, transaction has a price, but with Open Badge Factory we can in fact validate several badges in one transaction. So you can have, let's say, 100 badges baked or anchored in a blockchain with one transaction. And we use this public Ethereum blockchain technology, which is, well, I would say, kind of well-known technology on the market, and which is, I would say, greener than many other blockchain solutions. And we can provide to our users also not only the validator that you see here on the right side, which is, so you click the badge and you can have the blockchain validation visible straight away. Well, we can also provide this this proof data that can be calculated and checked by any external, let's say, organization and so on. So this is a new feature. It's no, we don't have yet customers, but well, now it's ready. So if any customer is interesting, it's something that we can suggest or propose. Okay, and well, the question with blockchain, or the problem with blockchain, that often when different kind of platforms use blockchain, they freeze the badge. And for Open Badge Factory, it's not a good solution, because for us, we believe that the badge, even a badge would be a credential, a certificate. You should have the possibility to, as a learner, as a badge earner, to enrich it, to bring new evidence on the badge, to get your badge endorsed, and so on. So it was a bit problematic to think about, okay, if we add blockchains, what will happen to this blockchain badge? Can we still use it in the passport and having it develop and enrich? So we developed a method which is quite interesting, that a system of revalidation of the badge. So blockchain or not blockchain, when in Open Badge Factory you issue a badge, you can check that this badge can be revalidated. So if it's a blockchain badge, the badge will be issued and will be basically, let's say, validated with a blockchain and then issue in Open Badge Passport. If there is no blockchain validation, it's the same let's say, process. So it goes here, it doesn't go in the blockchain, then it goes in the passport. And then in the passport, if the badge earner add an evidence on this kind of badge, then he or she will have a button just to request a new validation of the badge. And then this validation request goes back to Open Badge Factory, and in Open Badge Factory, the issuer of the badge can revalidate the badge. So it looks like that. So in Open Badge Factory, you just select issue badge. Issue badge can be revalidated. Then you see on the right side here, Open Badge Passport view, where I have a badge here. I've been adding an URL. So I am pointing to one of my webinars, I think, and the name of the webinar and the description. So, and here, when I've been adding this, after adding this evidence, I just click request revalidation. It goes, after that, I can write a message. Can you validate the new evidence I add to this badge? Oh, sorry, I add. So sorry for the typo here. And then it goes to Open Badge Factory. So in Open Badge Factory, you have a new section here, which is after review application, you are revalidate badges. And here you can see this request. When you open the request, well, you can click the link here and see what evidence I added to the badge. And then you can accept or reject, approve or reject the badge, and write a message to the person who sent this request. So here the idea is to have basically still the possibility to enrich badges, but to have the new evidences and evidence and endorsements included in the badge and officially revalidated by the organization issuing the badge. And you can do it even you have a blockchain. So, okay, now for spaces, what I will do, I will open the chat. Did I have it open here? Let's see what's happening. Okay. Okay, Don was adding information about the blockchain. Okay, and well, the spaces. What is a space? Well, a space is basically a dedicated passport inside the passport. So the purpose of a space is to support, I would say, interaction. I would say easier interaction between a member in a meaningful context, while basically meaning that, in a big passport, in Open Badge Passport, we have 120,000 users. without a space for a community, it's quite difficult to find users, to find the badge I want to earn, and so on. So the idea is to have a dedicated space for a community. And this space functionality or feature, it's designed for organization and it's designed for networks. Okay, and I am happy to say that in fact it's the first step. It's new possibility for organizations to really have an impact, a role in Open Badge Passport, because until now the passport was mainly a place for individuals to receive and share the badges, but the organization didn't have any view of what is happening in their community in the passport, and they didn't have any tool for setting strategies and so on. So the idea of this space is to basically enable organization to deploy different kind of strategy to support and guide their members. So let's have a look. Here is an example of space. Oh, sorry, did I jump? No. Okay. This is an example of a start page for a space. So inside the Open Badge Passport, or you can open a space, put your logo and so on, and it will generate a link for your own community. So you don't have to go to the address Open Badge Passport, but Open Badge Passport / and the name of your space. Yeah. And when you use this space, by the way, we will also, or we will have very soon an SSO solution for spaces, meaning that you can, for example, have SSO access to a space by Shibboleth will be the first implementation, but later we can have all 3, 6, 5 or other authentication systems, so that you don't have to create an account for, let's say, your students would not have to create an account. And then when you come inside the passport, if you access by this login page with this space login page, you will arrive in the dashboard of this space. And as you see here in the dashboard, you have in the left side, it has been a bit simplified compared to the old version. The right side, it's your personal information. So if you get a new endorsement request, or someone requests you, the number of badges you have. If you have a new badge, you will see it here. Quick links for helping you to start with the passport. And in the other side, you have the space information. So here, this space is a new space. So there is only 2 members. And then you can see also the new badges, the new badge application in this space. And you can, here you have your settings for allowing, for example, notification, or to define this space, set up this space as a default space. Well, in spaces, there are, I would say, different kind of dimension. I would say there is a management dimension here. So you can see that, well, you have statistics, you can see the right side. But what is interesting that in spaces can be, first of all, it can be public and open. So they will be seen, in this case, in the explore section, and anyone can join. They can be public and control, so they can be seen, but you can access only if you are accepted in the space. And they can be private. If they are private, you can't see them, and only you can access only by invitation. And as I said, we have this branded first page and SSO connection. What is interesting that you can invite also your member your members with invitation links or badges. So I will show you, you can select a badge, let's say first year student badge or whatever you want. And then if this earner access Open Badge Passport, then he will receive an invitation to join the space. And of course, every user can accept or deny invitation according to the GDPR. Is of course it's you can't force anyone to go the space. And then you have the branded member dashboard, and then you have the roles. And these roles are interesting. So in a space, you have the admin. Admin can see the statistics, can manage the space members, memberships, and can set up roles for other users. And the roles are creator. If you are a creator, you can create pathway or minimap. We call it a minimap, but they are basically pathways. I will show you. If you are an issuer, you can issue badges very soon. Not now, but this role is already existing. But very soon you will be able to issue badges. And if you are a user, then you are in the user role, so you don't have the possibility to issue badges or to be a creator. And we are also developing what we call a member grouping solution that you could, for example, inside the space, create groups based on badges that they have received, for example. And of course, you have the statistics and the reports for the space, and that can be seen by admins. And we have a news board and also a tool for notifications. So about Minimaps, when I speak about interaction and guidance, what is interesting in the space is not only that it's a community area where people can, interact easily with each other because they basically are, the same community, so it's easier. But well, that's true that it's easier to request endorsement when you are with your, with your peers and with your colleagues and with your students and so on. But the idea here that you can build hybrid learning and development pathways. So the idea that you can compose like a metro map, and under the stations you can set up badges, like I would say tasks or objectives. But the badges that you can add in your minimaps are badges which are being basically created and issued by different organizations. So the idea here that if your space is, I would say, a network space, the different kinds of members of the space could work together on producing, common badges and aggregate them or build pathways with these badges. And what is also interesting in the space that you can also not only just publish things, but as you see under this this minimap, you can choose. Oh, sorry, it's in French, but I didn't see that it was in French. But you can assign your minimap to a selection of users. You can publish your minimap to space member in general, so they will find it and choose it if they want, or you can even display your minimap for all Open Badge Passports users. So what is also interesting that now that we have in the space is a connection, so you can now integrate Open Badge Factory. If you have a pro level account in Open Badge Factory, you can connect Open Badge Factory and Open Badge Passport and your space in Open Badge Passport. You can publish badge applications straight in your space. So until now, you know that you have been able to publish badge application into the passport, but the badge application goes in the public, I would say, area. So it can be Canada, it can be France, or whatever you want. Every badge earners can see this badge application. Quite many customers say that, okay, well, it's good, but we don't want to have to basically examine badge application from people that we don't want, that are not our students or are not our employees and so on. So now you can just get from Open Badge Factory your badge application and just publish them in the space, or even assign them straight to different users. Okay, so let's go to next. So here there are some views of what I was saying. So you have here Open Badge Factory, and in Open Badge Factory you have the API key, so you can generate a new key. You can make some description here, connection with OBF team space in OBP. You generate this the credentials, okay, and then when you have generated the credentials, you just copy the credentials in your space. So the administrator, the space, can do this. And so you can see here the connect with factory, new connection, and you just are now added this connection. Now, when you are connected to Open Badge Factory, you can here create a list of badges in your Open Badge Factory account that you want to use in the space. So if you don't want that all the badges that you have in factory are usable or issuable by creators in your space, you can basically just make a selection here that, okay, only these badges will be available in this space. Here you see the users here, and you see the different roles of users. And well, it's an all view, but there will be also, of course, admin, creators, and other roles here. And then you can accept and reject membership. This is a new tool here. So you can we have the publish section. In the publish section, you can select a badge or a minimap from Open Badge Factory or from Open Badge Passport. So here in this case it's from Open Badge Factory. Okay, so I select the Open Badge Passport contributor badge here. It's a badge application, and then here I can decide to publish this badge to your space, meaning in my space here. And what happened in that, you will see that now this badge is available in the space. So my space member will, when they click earn a badge, they will see this particular badge here. So you can build here different, I would say, programs for from your learners, and it's the same idea than the minimap. So in the minimap section, you will see the minimaps that has been published for your learners or earners. And you have the possibility also to create news posts for your space. So it's a simple editor here. You just give the title of your news, breaking news, and your text here. And then you see in the dashboard that you can see the news board here in the left side of the dashboard. Yeah, so about further development of spaces. So spaces are now it's basically the version number 2. So we had the first, I would say, very primitive version of spaces without start page, without dashboard. But now this version number 2, it's, I would say, providing very much the tools that our customers are needing. And we are not yet, let's say, providing it as a service. It will take some time to make tutorials and a bit documentation, because well, you have to know how to use it. But we have already I think 5 or 6 customers already starting with the spaces. Some are just trying them, but we have, for example, big French engineer schools starting with this SSO connection, a shibboleth connection with the space in a few weeks. So it's working. We just need a bit time to basically make all the marketing things and all the needed, let's say, support material around it. But we are already, of course, thinking about further developments. So the further developments are about Minimaps. So we are already working with a French organization now on having more features inside the Minimap, and the look and feel of the Minimaps will be improved also. The badge issuing features will come also soon. So if you have an OBF Pro account, you will be able to connect, as now, connect your badges with your space, and your creators inside the space will be able to issue the badges that you have in factory. So you don't have to get your colleagues or your teachers in OpenBadge factory for issuing badges. They just could do it from OpenBadge Passport. And well, of course, we want to improve collaboration between the members of the space. So now we have been working quite much on management features and on tools for assignments or all these kind of things. But so there would be a possibility to have a filtering system to, if you want to get an endorsement, you will see first of all the people who are in the members of your space. So it will be easier for requesting endorsement or sharing your badge or sharing your pages only with your members, I would say. And one feature that some customers have been, let's say, would like to get, it's possibility to have discussion around badges. So inside the space, if people have got some badges, you can already now set up comments, put comments to the badge. But our idea is to have a good discussion board around the badge. So kind of, yeah, forums connected to the badges. And yes, so what is also interesting here, that we can use also the badges to give rights. So you can use a badge to reward someone or to recognize something. But basically, if some customers, if some user have a badge, he could have the possibility or the right to issue badges inside the space, for example. So we are very much looking for this kind of dynamic thing. So people having a badge could do something, or even in the space, some badges could be issued automatically when something happened, and the badge could come automatically from OpenBadge Factory. So it's a bit the same kind of integration that you have with a Moodle or learning management system, that you have rules in the management system, and you can issue badges from OpenBadge Factory. Well, you could have rules in your space related to the guidance or to the let's say the progression of your learners, and then some badges would be issued automatically. So for example, already now you can issue, you can, let's say, suggest automatically a badge application to people having some badges. So let's say that if you are a first year student, if you have the first year student's badge, automatically you will see in your objectives in Open Badge Passport, you will see 1 or 2 badge applications that are recommended for you. That's the idea. And it's very interesting because it's dynamic. So if you think about a badge like first year student badge, well, it's basically growing all the time. So every time that someone gets his badge, you will also get the suggestion of having the next badge in a pathway. And of course, we want to be careful also not to push too much on management and to have more collaboration. So not a top-down, environment for only teachers or counselors, or but as I say, something more dynamic and where there could be a better, deeper collaborations between members. Okay, in general, in Open Badge Factory and in Open Badge Passport, the further developments are, well, usability improvement. We have been developing a lot of new features. We have at some stage to, would say, to redesign a bit the interface to make the things more neat and more, easy to use, bring more, I would say, explanation or instructions. The other thing in Open Badge Factory, we will work on badge applications. So having badge applications supporting new, let's say, processes, or so. Let's say that we are working quite much in for HR needs now, and the idea of in the HR field, for example, could be that it's not enough to let's say, request a badge with an application, but you should request the badge and then be endorsed by your superior or by some colleagues and so on. So we need a kind of chain of, I would say, endorsement, and that the badge is basically at the end, your application, it's accepted or rejected by the examinator, but it goes through a process of reviewing before that it gets back to factory. So the PDF look and feel, it's also something that customers will need some improvement here. So it's also on our list. And of course, tracking and reporting features are very important also. Well, for everybody, but for HR needs, it's very important to be able to measure gaps, for example, to set up goals and measure gaps. That you can do it well now with Open Badge is quite well. And in Open Badge Passport, which is now like I would not say learning environment, is more, I would say, competence or skills development environment. I can't find a good word in English, but it's not really learning, it's more skills development and let's say, yeah. Here, well, there is a need for CV templates. I was discussing with 2 or 3 customers, say, okay, it's great for young kids that they can be in a space, they can, have batch applications and all what they need. But it would be great that they could do a kind of, would say, official CV inside Open Badge Passport and share it as they can do now. But now it's not really, I would say, there is no format, so it's a quite free format. So it's a need to have some template here. There will be the Badge Connect integration, meaning that Badge Connect is standard, I would say, for sharing badges between different passports and backpacks. And we have also a lot of discussions about organization accounts in Open Badge Passport. So the idea that universities or companies could create an account in Open Badge Passport and then basically endorse users inside the passport, also that they will be able to search for skilled users. So I think it's quite much the next step. So as I say, it's a guidance environment. Then you can create your CV. You have your badges inside the system. Well, the next step is to have possibility for employers or for anyone in the passport to look for skilled users and to have a match between these badges and job descriptions. So it's something which can be a bit different in different countries, but I think it's something which is definitely will happen in the future. Okay, I think that we have still 10 minutes, but we can take 5 minutes more if you wish. Do you have any questions? I've not seen all what we have here in the chat. So, but please, if you have any question, you can use the microphone. I will be happy to answer.
Hi, Eric.
Yeah.
This is great. It's I've heard a lot of this, but there's some really some exciting details as well. So I'm really interested to see this. Something I'm just checking because there was discussion about this. I'm not sure if it's made it in. This idea of revalidating badges, is that something that could be appropriate for extending expiry dates or revalidating for expiry date?
It could be done. I think it's nearly done, but we just didn't do in this version. But it could be a possibility that you basically you have a badge, yeah, that you need to expire, that which is expiring and that is expiring, and you could get it revalidated. Yeah, I think that the use case is also let's say for professional education, or that you, let's say that you have learned some skills at school and you are practicing some way in a company, for example, and then you have some evidence of the work that you are doing in the company, and then you just can add it in the badge and ask your basically your mentor or your teacher to revalidate the badge and add this this new evidence in the badge. So your evidence gets, I would say, kind of official status because it has been examined and in one way accepted and added to the badge.
Okay, great. Alyssa, you had a question earlier on. Do you want to sort of re-ask it so Eric can comment on it? You were talking about, I think, networks using.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was just wondering if the whole network process could be leveraged to connect Ontario colleges and universities through a provincial micro-credentialing initiative, so that, like, everybody can see what everybody's offering and then develop pathways so that the earners can complete different micro-credentials in different ways.
Yeah, I think it's possible, and you could have in the eCampus Ontario passport, for example, I would say different kind of spaces and use use this approach. In fact, using spaces. Yes, I think it's something that could be done.
I was saying to Alyssa in my initial response in the comments, this is kind of going a little beyond what's already available with badge sharing, especially with share as link. So this is something, I deliberately on a one-to-one basis, I share with another institution that's available, but this would become more of a network approach instead of a one-to-one approach, right?
Yeah. So it's and I think it's what is very interesting when I spoke about the new use cases. So now we are thinking about a collaborative approach more. So it's not your badge and your earners. It could be the badge of different organization, and they could be shaped as different kind of common pathways, and you are in a collaborative environment. So it's interesting because it's quite open. So you can open in two senses. It's open that you could use different kind of badges there, but it's open in a way that you can invite learners or earners in your space, for example, based on badges. So it's quite dynamic. I don't know if you know what I mean. For example, I had a network of universities, 7 universities, where there are European universities, and they want to have a solution for being able to basically, I would say, follow, but track and get some reports on skills related to let's say PhD, let's say students in these universities, of master level students in these universities. So they could use, for example, the same, let's say, master badge as a badge that all the students of these universities could basically use, and based on that, then propose different kind of badges, badge application program, and minimaps to these people. And then you could get statistics about how many people have been getting these badges, or how many people have been completed these pathways or minimaps.
That's cool. Justin, you had a question earlier on about, I think, what was it? The idea of learning how people had used badges that you had made available to a Minimap. Are you still there?
I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it was just a question about networks. And it seems like if I create a badge and someone else uses that badge that I've created, that seems like a form of endorsement. And so it would be, I'm just curious if it's, if that use of my badge is visible to me, and if I can make that kind of more broadly visible. It just seems like a form of endorsements. And as these networks develop, that'll be kind of an interesting way to look at the uses of badges, right? Is like who's using whose badges and to what extent.
Yeah, thanks to Justin. It's a very interesting question. I didn't think about that. So yeah, so basically, if the organization B use the badge application from the organization A in a pathway, in a minimap, it's a form of endorsement, because it's a recognition that this badge is basically interesting for this organization. Why not? We could have a kind of automatically add an endorsement on the badge or when you select the badge for a pathway, you propose it to some learners, then the system could say, okay, do you want to add an endorsement in this badge?
Yeah, in a sense, it's popularity. How often was it used? Not just who says it's good. How often did they use it? That's very cool.
Yeah.
Ali has a question about badge revalidation at 9:52.
9:52. I can't see it from here. So,
Does the badge revalidation involve editing issued badges from factory? Examples can include updating skills language, including open competency frameworks, etc. Oh, okay. So in other words, you're talking about endorsements, additional evidence, and validating that. I think Ali's asking, what about other things that could be added later and revalidated?
yes, because evidence in OpenBadge Passport, you can have a very large scale of evidence. So evidence can be, well, there could be a certificate that you have got somewhere, the PDF file that you can add as an evidence. It could be URL, there could be even other badges. So yeah, I can see in language learning, for example, a language badge, which is usually the challenge is that if you have a B2 level in French, but you don't practice for 3 years, it will not be a B2 level in 3 years. So it could be A2 or whatever you want, but it could be, yeah, it could be good to be able to have a revalidation of these kind of skills, which are basically needs to be, I would say, activated and developed. Yeah. So you can see that it could work for example, with languages or yeah.
Okay, great. And Jürgen, you had a question earlier on about that initial user experience and whether somehow I think you were saying, could they get the badge and also sort of a packaged passport experience? Could that process be made easier? Is that a fair depiction of your question?
Yes, first, I'm sorry, I have no camera picture here, but my question was, it is with the people I have to work together, it's very difficult to explain first the badge and then the passport. If someone does not know anything about it, and you can give him or her a badge, and then you have to explain what to do to get a passport. And most people are a bit frustrated, and then they do nothing, and the opportunity vanishes. Therefore, I was asking, could you give someone a passport with the first badge already in it? Like if you're in Germany, you are applying for some sort of sport activity certificate, you get the passport with the first stamp in it, already in it. And then you take your passport, and next time you bring the passport and get the second and the third stamp in it, but you have it already with the first certificate. This was the question I have from my practice.
Yeah, it's a very good and it's a very practical and important question. So with spaces, I think that for universities, it's clear that university wants to have a SSO connection. And the good thing with the SSO connection is that basically students will not have to create the account in OpenBadge Passport. Just by clicking OpenBadge Passport, they will get the account using the same credential that they use for the university. Okay, so it will make things much more easier. I don't know if it's a good thing, but let's say that it makes things easier. Let's say some years ago we had the possibility to push the badges straight away in the passport, and just to inform the badge earner that, okay, your badge is there, you just have to go inside in the passport and create your account. We can't do that because of the GDPR now, because you can't put any personal information in any system without the authorization of the person. That's why that they have to create the account and then to have the badge there. So it's still a bit problematic, but well, I think that yeah, for a university, perhaps the easiest way would be to have this as SSO connection, and then they agree. I mean, there is an agreement between the university and the student that when they use their account in the university, they could access straight away the passport. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. A helpful remark. Yes.
Yeah. One other thing, Jürgen, for making the use of the passport easier, you could recommend the app of the passport, OpenBadge passport.
Okay.
With the app, it's just you create your account in the app. It's quite easy, and then you don't have to log in every time in the app. So to just go one time in your app, you create your account, and then all your badges come automatically in your app. You can share them easily, and so on. But now I hope some customers are not really interested in the passport and are saying, well, we need an easy way to share badges. Well, that's why now you have in this release the possibility just in the first email that you get also to click and just put your badge in LinkedIn. So I think that we need both. We need this quick sharing facilities for people who are not yet understanding the idea that they should basically use badges for making the pathways and the competencies and skills visible, like a lifelong learning perspective, and they can later come to the passport. Yeah.
And having the PDF as a certificate that happens to be a badge container also, that can be used later is helpful. Yeah.
Okay.
A question from Richard that I've tried to answer at the bottom there. He's worried about intellectual property from sharing, being able to curate badges and minimaps. I'm saying, well, it's really just recognizing the outcomes as part of your learning path rather than using the content.
Yes, and I think that what will happen, what is already happening with the few cases, a few spaces that we have already now with some pilot customers or pilot, let's say, spaces, that you can use mainly badge applications, in Minimaps. So you connect a badge, let's say a badge from the organization A, which is basically a badge application. So, I think the organization agree together that, okay, we will do that because, well, if they don't answer to badge application, it doesn't work. You know what I mean? So the badge is public anyway. So when you publish a badge, it's public and you can see it in OpenBadge Passport. But I mean that there are badge applications which are assigned in Minimaps, and then the organization have a role that they have to examine this badge application or not. So, yeah. You had the question.
I just realized I'm late for a meeting now.
Okay. Don had to leave. So I'm not sure I answered to all the questions, but please, if you have any other questions, you can use your microphone. What is your basically feedback about these new features? Do you have something which is for you especially interesting, or do you get some ideas on how to use spaces, or is it answering to any of your needs? I know that it's always difficult.
I actually had a quick question. When can we expect the release version of the Minimap spaces and the passport spaces?
Yeah, so we are releasing already the in OpenBadge Passport. We will be releasing the spaces quite soon. So if you are interested, you can contact me, for example. So there is this contact at openbashfactory.com, for example, or and then we could I can give you more information. But officially, what we are going to do is we're going to renew the OpenBash Passport first page. So basically make a new website. And then in the new website, we will provide all the information and instructions and all the material that basically customers need. For the moment, we are all these things are running and you know, running well, and there is a lot of potential. But as I say, we need to have a better presentation of the service. But if you are interested, of course, I will be happy to answer to your question and to have a more detailed presentation.
Sounds good.
Thank you. Do you have any other questions? Well, if not, thank you very much for attending this this webinar. It was a pleasure to see so large audience here. And if you have any questions about the space, or you are interested, you can contact me, or as I say, contact at openbashfactory.com, and I will be happy to answer to your question and to make a demonstration if you need for your own use cases. Thank you very much.